You should see a picture of this terrorist that's been convicted. This was a guy that wanted to go down Speaker's Corner, and he wanted to secure an M10, which, from my understanding, is a rapid-firing gun, and spray his intended victim, which was going to be Hatton. She was a convert from Islam to Christianity, and she preaches down there. Now, she's already been attacked down there by a Muslim, slashed in the face, and as far as I understand at the moment, they haven't caught him. They might have done I can't find any details of who it was. And this was at the time she was also wearing the Charlie Hebdo t-shirt. She is a woman that pushes the boundaries, but under no circumstances should she be attacked. However, if you've been down Speaker's Corner, it's near enough a mosque, all right? There are some Christian preachers down there, but generally speaking, it is so overrun with Islam, you wouldn't believe it. And it looks nothing like the pictures of what it used to look like, and I'm going to show you both. Also, they have mass prayer down there when they can get away with it, just as a show of force, because the park rules say that under no circumstances should any prayer from any faith be mass organised on park property. So naturally, Islam says, fuck that, I'll do what I like. But this guy here, Edward Little, what a piece of work he was. Now, he's been in prison already for numerous knife crimes and robberies of people, and in one case stabbed them. The other time he just punched them and beat them to the floor because, well, that's not quite so bad, is it? Anyway, this was a guy that also sold drugs. Now, while inside, he was radicalized by radical Islam, because Islam does like to pick on the fickle, the stupid, the easily influenceable, the immature, and the easily led. Why? Because I know people who were lumps of meat, good, strong, hard people. Not good, they were just strong, hard people that went in there, and when threatened by Islam, they shit themselves and then converted and then decided that actually the security that they've been looking for all their life could be found within Islam. And so they stayed faithful. But Islam knows how to manipulate and use weapons like this, and I use weapon as in the human, not the actual physical weapon, to go and do its dirty work and then throw it under the bus. Now, this thing came outside, incredibly radicalized, and decided that he wanted to go, as I say, after the Queen's funeral and do a load of soldiers, I suggest. However, in the meantime, he missed his opportunity because he couldn't secure a gun, so waited and then had another target picked for him. This would be the Christian preacher at Speaker's Corner called Hatton. Now, this was a woman that we thought had gone missing lately, but has been found, so I don't know quite any more about it than that, but she is under constant threat from being murdered from Islam, because obviously she's left Islam, and she talks with great detail about all the ills of Islam in Speaker's Corner. Now, this does invoke a lot of hostility towards her. But this guy had decided that what he was going to do was secure a gun, but in the meantime, he'd secured funding. Who do you think that funding comes from? Well, I'll tell you exactly. It comes from the betterment of Islam. Now, anybody who says otherwise is a fucking moron. Now, you think about all of these cash jobs, like hairdressing place, or barbers, I should say, right? And numerous other places that, oh, no, cash only. They can siphon a load of that money off to the betterment of Islam. Now, don't be fooled about the betterment of Islam. It's not to do better things. It is to secure financing for the domination of Islam. Take, for instance, the other week when they had a mass march in London. They said money's not a problem, and they could secure buses and coaches and get them from, say, I don't know, up north to London en masse. Well, the money from the betterment of Islam goes into that kind of stuff. And I would imagine that this bloke, after they realised they had a complete moron on their hands that would go and do whatever it is they asked, they thought, right, and secured the money for him. Right, so what else happened? Well, on his way, after he'd, through social media and other ways of trying to hide his name, had contacted criminals and made his way from Brighton to, I believe it was a part of London, to secure this gun, they've actually stopped him. Now, when they got there, right, and took him back to the police station, they questioned him and showed him a picture of Hatton, at which point he lost his mind, went over the table and attacked the copper. Quite the balanced man, I'm sure you'll all agree. Now, gets worse than that. When they actually put him inside, he decided that what he would do is boil his kettle, pour sugar on it, so it's like napalm now, by the way, okay? And then what he would do is go up to some other criminal that he decided dissed Islam, threw it in his face, then attacked him with razor blades. Now, he's got 16 years minimum at the moment, but the possibility is if he can't be rehabilitated that he could get a life. What I want to talk to you about here is the threat of Islam, mainly from within the prison, but everywhere else also. What they need is Islamic prisoners need to be in solitary confinement where they can't meet each other and do their work, where they can't also poison the mind of influenceable muppets like this fool, right? Now, if you imagine most of your life has been not balanced and you've had no direction in your life and you haven't had any compliments and, it's been pretty shit growing up, right? When you actually go in and you get people groom you, because this is exactly what happens in there. And how do I know? Well, I went to prison, so I know about this shit, right? Now, I was there in 1999. And when I was there, Islam was just taken off within the nick. And I was in Gloucester, by the way. Gloucester's now shut, but it was a very old prison. And they had special privileges even then. But nowadays, Islam runs the prison. They run the screws, they run the wings, they run everything, all right? And if you don't give a payment or convert, you either pay or you convert to Islam, where you fall under the ire, the anger of Islam, and it can mean anything, right? From a kicking to worse, all right? So many people who go in there for a quiet life convert, all right? But don't be surprised that many people who come out have been radicalized and will go on further to do more. Bearing in mind, people who have gone into Nick aren't afraid of criminality because they've already been doing quite a lot of crime in the first place to have got themselves into Nick. But many of them are stupid and easily led. Now, I'd say that many of them are weak. If you think you're going to get a kick in by not joining in the gang, then you'll join the gang for a quiet life. And that's why many people can't even leave Islam. But there's going to be many, many more people like this. Now, Speaker's Corner used to be a place where, I don't know, traditional looking Londoners and people from further afield would go to stand on their orange box or soapbox or whatever they called it, right? So this is why people used to say, oh, get off your soapbox. I think it comes from there. But anyway, they get on a box and they would be able to speak. Now, if you're speaking about Islam and you're an Islamic preacher, bang on. If you're one of these Christian preachers that comes out and speaks about the ills of Islam, you can have yourself a bit of trouble there. Now, I went up there one day dressed as a reverend with quite a few hard lads, and I told them all what a bunch of cunts they were. But because the odds weren't in their favour, I got an applause. But there it is. Islam, in any form, wants to take over. And they have taken over Speaker's Corner, like they've taken over the prison. Oh, and our politics. Isn't it funny how so many of our leaders don't look like us anymore? The slow takeover is going fast now. And we have to be aware of this because we've got all different criminality on the streets from Islam that pays for Islam. I mean, why is it there's a massive drug shortage around Ramadan? You might want to look at that. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because the people who transport the drugs up and down the country won't do it during Ramadan. So if you're a druggie, unlucky. And another one, if you're a druggie, you ain't going to get any more off him because he's in for a while. But this is the thing. I'm allowed to say what I think. Why? Because I'm a British and an English man and I don't give a fuck. That's the truth. These people are a threat. These extremists. And what I'm more pissed off about is the mainly peaceful followers of Islam don't call this shit out. Why? Because they're terrified. Or some of them actually agree with it, but they'd never come out and tell you. I'm not saying ban Islam, but I'm saying it needs a lot more draconian laws on it to curtail it. And people need to be able to call it out for what it is. It is a death cult that totally consumes everybody in it and ruins their fucking life. There you go. Anyway, I'm going to do a load more content and I will be live tonight at 8 o'clock. So if you're bored and you've got nothing better to do, come and join in. I might even have a beer with you. And then there'll be the call-ins. So if you are going to call in, if you are new, it's easy peasy. Just pick up the phone and tell me what you're thinking. Meanwhile, if you're an old caller, try and keep it on topic. There it is. Right, I've got a few more stories and I'll see you in a bit.